For those of you who are new, get those questions in early because we get them fast. And I want to get to as many questions as possible today. Decent 11-game slate, nothing too crazy. Burns, how are you feeling about things?
Still working through things.
Are you sick? Are you okay?
No, I just had to clear my throat. Just working through things. Still working.
I feel yeah. No, I'm right there with you. Still making some changes here and there, seeing what some of these, how these lines are looking. So we'll figure it out. Raz, how you feeling, man?
Feeling phenomenal.
You
enjoying
look
my coffee and looking at stuff. It's a great day.
And Tattoo, you're hating on Christmas music already?
More, I hate people who play it before at least Thanksgiving's over.
All right. No, I feel you, though. There really should be a time and a place. But like I said, y'all, we are here to answer your questions. For this show, we really do like to focus on positions, and we'll kind of talk through kind of what our strategy is on the slate. And so we'll get to a lot of these games. Good to see you all in the chat. Cujo, Ike, Bobby, agreed. Let's get some money today. Let's win. Tunes, good to see you as well. Xavier said, what quarterback and receiver stack are you guys going with in single entry? Tattoo, you're the single entry guy. You love it. Who are you looking at here?
I shockingly didn't play any single entry this week. But if I was going to and still may, I think that I would just roll with Brock Purdy.
Okay. And who are you playing as the pass catcher or running back?
I would probably honestly use, I get Kittle out.
Yeah.
I would probably use Ricky Purcell or Debo, but probably Ricky Purcell.
Makes sense. So what are you playing today then if you're not single entering? Like you normally
20
do?
max and 150.
Okay, you're MMA, and I see you, man. Raz, this is like one of the key questions, so I'll focus on it for a good bit. Who's your quarterback and receiver stack for single entry lines today?
The only single entry that I have hand built is a Jameis Winston double stack.
I can't even hate. I want to. Who are your double stack options? Because there's a few.
Going with Tillman and Moore right now. I think that's what I'm going to stick with just because I like playing Dawson Knox in that lineup. But it's a toss-up. I just don't think it's going to include Judy right now. Is the one guy I don't think is making that
what
build.
Did Judy do to you, Raz?
He's just not Cedric Tillman. That's basically it.
That's real. He literally is not. And then Burns, what about you, man? Who's your quarterback receiver stack for single entry lines today?
Yeah, those are all really good. I think you have to add in Jared Goff today, even though the line is really upside down on that game. I like how he's projecting. So, and I don't think a lot of people are actually going to be on him today. So that makes it for a nicer GPP single entry stack. So,
yep, I'm right there with you, man. What are you saying, Tattoo?
And I'm going with Drake May.
Okay. And you're playing Drake May. See, you've been on the train, and he's been good. But today is the day for Drake May. I'm glad you brought him up, too. And I'm with you, Burns, when it comes to single entry. I'm looking at Jared Goff today. Like everyone said, I don't think anyone said anything crazy, which is weird. Normally, there's a play I hate when we talk about our single entry lines. But, yeah, I'm looking at Goff. And I think everyone loves his receiving and running back options and even the tight end a little bit, but people just don't like playing Goff because they've been burned by him so many times. And I don't know. I don't really care about that too much. I'm still going to take that shot. Jay said, who is your 100% global max play, Burns? I don't think you have one, do you?
If I had, the one that I've been looking at is HN. So, but I put that in the channel as well.
Yep. Nice. Tyrell, good to see you, man. Agreed. Dixon, good to see you as well. Mo, whole crew. George said, getting a lot of Winston. Should he be capped? Raz, you brought up Winston already. Are you capping him in your 150?
I mean, I'm capping him because I'm 11 quarterbacks on the main slate. I think I'm 10 quarterbacks on the early slate. So, I mean, I'm going to have a bunch of Winston between the slates, probably combined between the two. I'm probably going to be around 30 to 35%, but, I'm not over, 16 or 18% on either slate.
Yeah. I have around 15%. I didn't have to cap them. I'm only playing 8 quarterbacks today, but I probably wouldn't have more than 25 if you're getting that much where you are asking the question. Dixon said, I hope my lineups don't get beat up like Mike Tyson. I see you, man. I agree. Hopefully we do better than whatever the hell that was on Friday. Jose said, I really respect your analytics. You have led me to some good money. So today I asked, who's your tournament winning quarterback? Oh, thanks, man. Glad things have been going well for you. Honestly, I'm with Burns on this. I really like Jared Goff as like my low-owned quarterback for the day, who I see have tournament winning upside. I am playing a lot of like Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Drake May, Anthony Richards, guys like that too, but we'll get there. Mr. Andy said, Allen tight end for Rams, a good GPP punt play. Tight end GOAT. Burns, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, he's what, 2,500, so he allows you to get to a lot of plays that you may not have otherwise gotten to, but he's 2,500 for a reason. I wouldn't go overboard here. So be careful. But yeah, he's a good play in that he's 2,500, and if he gets you like 6 to 8 points, you're decently positioned.
Raz, I know you love talking about the tight ends position. What are your thoughts here with Allen?
My thoughts are that I prefer to not play him.
Okay.
He's just too chalky for a tight end in the Rams offense with Kupp and Nakua healthy. I mean, GPP wise, I just pivot to Eric Saubert and basically get like the same return probably. Or I mean, like AJ Barner and Dawson Knox aren't much more expensive. Like, yeah, I just don't understand the ownership on him at this point.
Okay, see, now you're getting interesting. I've been wanting to uncheck him all day, and so tempting. Tattoo, are you gonna break the tie? What are your thoughts on what's his name? Hall? Davis Allen, tight end for the Rams.
I got 6%. Like Burns said, he's $2,500 for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's chalky though. He's seeing 12% ownership. So
I think he's showing right now. It says 4% right now for me.
Are you looking at FanDuel?
Maybe.
Yeah, he's 13% on DK right now.
Yeah, he's gonna be pretty chalky. But I'm down with the fade. I'm gonna go with you, Raz, and just uncheck him. I'm not gonna uncheck him. I don't do that, but I'm gonna limit him to around 6% of my lines, like Tattoo said. I think that's not a bad call. Mo said, are these two a fade in GPP due to the matchups and being chalky? Butte and Shakir. Tattoo, what are your thoughts here?
I did. Shakir, okay, I'm at 15%, and faded Butte.
Okay. Burns, what did you do here?
I lowered his projection on the $3,500 guy. Just enraged him. I didn't really do anything else to him, but I think he's going to show up in like 10 to 15% of my lineups, which I think is too much.
My goal is to be underweight on Butte. Shakir, I'm lowering his projection a little bit, but I'm going to end up with more of him because I do kind of like that game. I'm playing a little more Patrick Mahomes than I normally do, so I'm going to get more Shakir than I probably want to. But out of the two, I'd rather be on Shakir at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the fade on either. I have Butte as a core play. He's showing up in a lot of my lines. I have him capped at my usual wideout cap mark. So he's showing up the amount he is going to show up for me. So I'll be significantly over the field, but I don't love it. I think he's a fine fade. Chalky receivers are never a bad fade in my mind and opinion. Shakir's not showing up for me too much, so that wasn't really something I have to think about too much. I'm around like 11%, so it's fine. I wouldn't go out of my way to force him in, though. So to answer your question, Mel, fine fade. Everyday Thing said Goff equals Tim Patrick, Butte pivot, and Brian Thomas bring back. Hells yeah. All right, man. Good luck. Thoughts on Kamara? I mean, if you watch anything that Burns is on, you already know the answer to this. Burns, do you want to talk about it again just to emphasize the point, or what do you want to do?
He's the last I looked, which was earlier this morning, and I haven't looked since. But the line was Cleveland -1.5 in this game, so that puts Kamara as a home underdog. And to tell you the truth, home underdogs have only been in 8% of winning Million Maker lineups over the last 10 weeks, so top 20s. Plus, he's not in a good matchup. Metrically, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to have 30%. Right now, I'm at half of the field ownership on him, and that may even be too much. So 15% is where I'm at.
Raz, the Saints Whisperer, do you have any different thoughts here?
No, I mean, I've pretty much been lockstep with Burns over the last number of weeks. I don't see why I think that might be the early slate. Main slate 29%. Like, that just feels too much for that matchup, given that they don't. I mean, Cleveland can focus on the running back or the backfield, with Taysom Hill out there with him. Like, just not something I really like when we have CMC and Achane and Gibbs and Breece Hall, really.
Yeah. I get it. I'm at 15%. I'm under the field too. And El Tattoo, are you with us, or are you playing him? You locked him in?
No, I got 12%.
Oh, damn. I was like, oh, that's a hell of a take. You're going against the pack. Love it. But no, it's okay. I guess we're all in alignment here, which means he'll probably crush. Rolling Derrick Henry or bust for me. All right, man. Good luck with that. Big Rob said, who do you like Goff stacked with the most? Burns, I know you mentioned Goff, so I'll go to you first here.
Yeah, I'll probably be a lot different than a lot of people, but I like him with Jameson Williams and Jahmyr Gibbs primarily, and then I'll get to Amon-Ra as well with him. So without Gibbs.
Yeah, there is not a combination I don't have with Goff, but I'm with you. My top stack right now is Gibbs and Brock Wright, but right below that is Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams. So, and I have a ton of Amon-Ra and all of those guys. Bobby said, I have Maye in my silly for the Millie. Who would you guys recommend stacking him with? Right now, I have Ramondre with him, but do you guys think he needs someone like Henry or one of his receivers? Tattoo, I know you mentioned Maye already. Thoughts?
Mainly stacking him with Henry, and I am using Polk.
Okay. Burns, what would you do here?
I'm not on Ramondre Stevenson at all this week. Don't really know where that is actually a thing, other than the fact that he's $6,100, and he could get like 15 to 18 points today and be in a winning lineup. But for me, it would be Hunter Henry, and then forget everything else on that side. But I'd rather run him naked.
Raz, do you like Maye at all today?
I think I'm playing him on the early only. And I believe my preference is naked. Just really based on, like, all these wide receivers are very similar. They're all getting, like 4 to 6 targets. Like, it just doesn't feel like somebody that you need to force him with. And even with Henry, I think Austin Hooper outplayed him last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I don't,
it's
like,
been back and forth.
It's just spreading it around. Almost like the traditional Patriots offense did with Brady, at his peak, where, like, he would get there with 4 or 5 touchdowns, and no wide receiver would do enough to win a GPP. I'm not saying Drake May is Tom Brady, but
that was a hell of a comparison to make.
Right, but it's
similar
just
scheme.
spreading it around.
Yeah,
like
better than Brady.
Oh
boy.
Maybe for DFS, hopefully. But
yeah, I like Brady. I'm a Michigan man.
Yeah, they're a little biased. For me, my top stack is with Butte. Again, I'm not really getting overly creative here, but I have significantly more May than the field, and that's because I'm only playing 8 quarterbacks, and so I have a good mixture here. Hunter Henry's my next second best option, and I didn't get to any Ramondre with Drake May, but I have Ramondre exposure, so I hate it, but I would prefer at least one of the wideouts, just kind of taking a shot on him. You won't feel great about it, but I still like the correlation there. CMC 9,800 on FanDuel. They priced him correctly. Is it worth it? Raz, are you playing on FanDuel today?
I have a couple lineups. I don't believe I got up to CMC. Yeah, I mean, that price is just up there a little too much for me. Yeah, not bad, but I mean, even Kamara's what, 1,600 less than him, even though we don't love Kamara. That's still a pretty big price gap over there.
Yeah, that's the difference. Is on FanDuel, there's that $1,600 price difference, and on DK, there's a 100 price difference. So it makes more sense to play the guy with more upside, who's more involved in the offense, in playing CMC on DK. Whereas on FanDuel, you can actually look at Kamara a little bit more as a viable play. Douglas William, we just touched on this. We don't really love the wideout position for the Patriots, but he's a shot. Like, he's a dart throw. You never know who it's going to be from the Patriots. I don't hate it if he's like your low-owned wideout for the slate, but he's not someone I'm trying to build around. Cedric, I feel like Tua's being overlooked. Thoughts on DK GPPs? I already know your thought process on this, Burn, so I'll get to you soon. But Tattoo, what are your thoughts on Tua?
I don't have much. On DK, I did not. He was not one of my quarterbacks. I'm not a Tua fan or believer. So.
Understandable. What about you, Raz?
I am getting to Tua. I am boosting him. He's somebody that I want. I think I have a min on him for each early and main slate at 10%. Like, it just feels like one of those games where we could see kind of a quote unquote vintage Dolphins offense.
Don't tell me that, Tattoo. That's not what I want to hear, man.
So I'm going with it.
And Burns, I know you like it, don't you?
Yeah, I've been on him all week. What I like about him is he's 6K. He's not like 6,700, 6,800. He's 6K. So that just makes me feel like he doesn't have to do 30 points, 27, 28, in that range. He can just do 20 and be set you up pretty well in your lineups. But yeah, he's made the offense that much better. So I could see them going balls to the wall here against the Vegas Raiders, and just crush them. So, but
yeah,
I've seen them dud too. So
yeah, true. Tua, Bo Nix, and Lamar Jackson are the 3 fades that are absolutely terrifying for me today. I can see all 3 of them going off for all the reasons that you mentioned, but like I said, I had to make my pool a little bit slower or lower to 8 just to make sure I had the upside I wanted.
Well, the problem with Lamar is he's got to get 30 plus to keep you in line. So
yeah, but the matchup's really soft with like the secondary a little bit weaker against Pittsburgh. It wouldn't shock me if he got 3 to 4 touchdowns today. So that's what makes me nervous, but I faded him because I still don't think that's super likely with Henry around. So we'll see. Savage said top 5 quarterbacks to stack, receiver and tight end. I know there's a cheat sheet. I just want to know if there's a difference of opinion for tournaments. Savage, appreciate the dono. Raz, I'll start with you. Who are your top 5 quarterbacks to stack with a receiver and a tight end?
Oh boy,
that is a loaded question.
I mean, Jameis, obviously, Tillman, Moore, and Njoku. Like I'm just playing a bunch of them. I'm obviously going Tua and Tyreek Hill quite a bit. I do have Jonnu Smith mixed in.
That makes sense.
Patrick Mahomes for me is up there. Healthier offense now. Kansas City Buffalo games tend to get a little wild. I think like this could be the spot where we see Mahomes put up his largest point total of the year. And to have, somebody like Mahomes at under 7K, I'm intrigued.
Thank you for mentioning another quarterback I'm nervous about fading.
Russell Wilson and Pickens. I'm not really using Freiermuth much. And I mean, the obvious is Brock Purdy, but it's like, who do you pair him with? Debo, probably.
Yeah, not a great. I mean, you're not really looking at Sauber. He's shown up in like 2 of my lines, but not something I'm excited about.
I mean, I'm getting Sauber because I'm boosting him, but I'm not super excited to just be like, I'm jamming Purdy and Sauber together in lineups. I think Sauber's just guy I'm going to have as one-off as a punt play in other builds is my guess.
Tattoo, who are you looking at? Top 5 quarterbacks to stack with a receiver and a tight end.
I was just going to say real quick, too, I think I'd rather play like the Siebert over the chalky Davis Allen. But
yeah, I agree.
I got my top 5 are Purdy, Winston, May, Allen, and Jackson.
Okay.
I guess Purdy, I would Purcell. And if you're going to do Siebert, obviously Jameson, Cedric Tillman and
Njoku.
May, I like Hunter Henry, but like I said, you can run him naked because he's got the running upside.
Yeah.
That's why I like him. Lamar, I could run him naked or maybe just throw him with Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh Allen, I guess, Shakir and Dawson Knox.
Okay, all right. And then what about you, Burns? Who are you looking at?
Well, I won't add to or rephrase every what everyone else said, but I think you have to have Jared Goff in your lineups today, at least in your player pool. Whether he gets in there at 5%, 10%, or higher, whatever, I think he just needs to be a part of your player pool today. He is someone that can always just go off, and he has yet to be that guy that's done it on the main slate thus far this year, and his ownership is showcasing that. Now, if he's gone off every week or a couple of weeks this year, his ownership would probably be around what Jameis Winston and Brock Purdy's is.
Mm-hmm.
But getting him at 3.5%, 4% ownership, and him having the ability to actually put up a 25 to 30 points, he's going to bring people with him. And Jameson Williams has the best scheme matchup in the scheme that they're going up against today. And I could see him doing fairly decent. But I'm really just attracted to Jahmyr Gibbs today with Goff. And if I can get Amon-Ra in lineups like that and Jameson Williams, by all means, I'm not targeting the tight end here. I'm just targeting the dudes that I believe they're going to target a lot and that they've been with thus far this year. And Brock Wright has only been there intermittently. So,
yep, I agree. I won't reiterate too much here. My top 5 are Winston, Purdy, Wilson, Goff, and Aaron Rodgers for this slate. It's a close tie. There's like a 1% difference between Rodgers and Geno Smith. But I think Rodgers fits this tight end and receiver narrative that you're looking for, Savage. I like Conklin this week. And I also like Garrett Wilson a good amount this week as well. And so that's a combination that I did make sure was showing up in my lines. And even a little bit of Devontae Adams is fine with me as well. And then Geno Smith was another viable option for me with a tight end. AJ Barner's in a pretty solid spot. I'm significantly over the field on him when it comes to ownership. And then the wideout positions where it got a little weird for me when it came to Geno, just because a lot of K9 was showing up naturally. But I did make sure I got some exposure to like DK and Lockett. They're very viable. So is JSN. But it was really DK was the main guy I forced in there. All right, back to the rest of the questions here. What running back do we trust more, Gibbs or Montgomery? Burns, you just gave your answer to this, I believe, unless you feel differently now.
No, it is Jahmyr Gibbs. For Montgomery to get there, he's got to cross the goal line twice with yardage. He's got to have about 50 to 60 yards at his 6,500 salary point. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is only $800 more. So in grand scheme of things, he just does more with the football when given opportunities. And I think he's going to out snap and he's going to outperform Montgomery today.
Yeah. There's not a Lions player on offense I don't have exposure to. So the answer is both for me, but I have significantly more Gibbs. What about you, Raz?
It is definitely Gibbs for me. Pretty much the only thing I was going to say about Montgomery is he has to score 2 touchdowns.
Yep. Tattoo, do you feel differently here, or are we all on the same page again?
Same page. Like Gibbs has the receiving upside, and he's going to get more usage. So I did take Detroit defense to score a touchdown today.
Okay, I hear you. I appreciate you too, Savage. I hope you do well today. Let's see here. Jason said, really torn on the best low price defense to play here. I don't want to spend money on defense. Keep coming back to Browns, Steelers, and Jets. Burns, you're also my go-to when it comes to defense. Who are we paying down for?
Yeah, I think all three of those defenses that he listed there are viable. You're going to have to boost the Steelers to get to them just because Domination Station's not liking them all that much. But I think at the lower price range, I think you could add in the Titans as well. They're at home. And they have Darnold and company coming in. So it's just a defense that could actually be viable at 2,300. But they come with ownership, so you got to be careful there. And depending on like what your salary constraints are, like even Miami Dolphins at 3K is not a bad defense at all today.
Yeah. What are your thoughts here, Raz? Chief defenses.
I mean, I'm pretty much a ton on the Jets, really. I like the Titans because obviously I pointed out last week Darnold turns the ball over. He did it last week against the Jaguars, who everybody wanted to stack against. And I mean, I'm going to mention the Bills against Mahomes. I know I love Mahomes, but turnovers and Mahomes have been happening. So you can have both sides of that matchup for sure.
Anyone else you like here, Tattoo?
The Browns.
Yep.
I got some Bears, Broncos, obviously Titans. But who was the other one here that I was trying to get in there? Patriots.
Yep. I'm right around field weight on Patriots and Broncos too, so I like those calls. Anything stand out for you in particular, though, with the Patriots?
Their price, really.
Nice. Okay.
I mean, they have a decent defense, but,
Agreed.
And Stafford likes to throw the ball to the other team.
Also true. David said, can you guys talk about the Sunday night game, please, for FanDuel GPP purposes? Raz, I'll start with you here. Who do you like here in that game?
I mean, I think that game's pretty strong to game stack even. Chargers getting a pace up spot, so like I feel like they're gonna play a little bit more. I still like Burrow and Chase the most, but I think Dobbins is intriguing, and then Quentin Johnson to me probably a stronger play over on FanDuel than McConkey is. just because the double touchdown upside. But I think it's a pretty good game. We've definitely had worse hammers on FanDuel. That's for sure.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, we are looking at DFS Army's domination station. This is our optimizer. This is what has helped all of us take down multiple tournaments. If you're interested in having exposure to this optimizer and the Discord and the coach notes and our core plays, feel free to click the link in the description. Use promo code TATTOO, TATTOO, for a 10% discount on that. But yeah, when it comes to this night game or the last game of the slate for FanDuel, I wish it was on DraftKings, to be honest, because this is just a game I would want to target more. Tattoo, did you look at this game at all? Did anyone stand out for you?
Yeah, I have some pop here. Make sure I'm on FanDuel. Chase Brown is ridiculously chalky on FanDuel.
30%.
I faded him.
Mm-hmm.
I did not use Burrow. I think I got some, threw some Jamar Chase in there.
Yeah.
But Chargers have a good defense, so I wasn't really going to pick on them too much with Burrow or anything. I got some Dobbins and McConkey. But
I get that. And then, Burns, are you playing on FanDuel at all? Does this game stand out for you?
I'm not, but I think the best way to attack this is from the Los Angeles Chargers side. I really like how Herbert has been performing this year. And on FanDuel, he saves you, I think, around $1,200 off of Burrow. And the Chargers have been a very good defense this year. So I really am intrigued with Herbert to Quentin Johnson in this one. I think it's a good pairing. I don't think J.K. Dobbins gets it done today. So I think they're going to have to rely more on the passing situations. And I don't think Ladd McConkey gets it done over the middle because of the fact that the Bengals are good against over the middle. I think the best bring back is probably going to be Jamar Chase in this one. And then a secondary bring back, if you can't afford Chase, would probably be Mike Gesicki.
Yeah, like I said, I like that game. You cannot talk me off of that game if I was playing on FanDuel. Unfortunately, I'm not, so I don't want to talk too much about that from my standpoint. But yes, Mr. Andy, MVS is not a safe play by any means, but I have plenty of exposure to him. 4,400. I like his upside is really the biggest thing that stood out for me. And with Tipton out, I think this could be a smash spot for him. But don't go crazy. You don't really want more than 10%. You're getting a little cute with it if you do that. The Kin said Knox or Shakir. Mahomes lineup game stack. Tattoo, I'll start with you. Who do you like here?
I'd probably take Knox just because I assume he's going to be much lower owned.
That was such like a dramatic sigh. You're just like, oh, like you just really didn't want to answer the question. Okay, but no, I feel you. I'm with Knox too. Raz, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to go the Shakir side because I'm probably not doing as much double tight end, and I really like Kelsey, so Kelsey's probably going to be in my Mahomes build. Mm-hmm. And I think you can use the ownership with Shakir. It's fine because Mahomes isn't super popular at all either. So
true. Burns, do you have a favorite here, Knox or Shakir?
No, I'm not probably going to be on Josh Allen this week. So
he has the Mahomes games. He's game stacking.
Oh, game stacking with Mahomes. I'm really not on Mahomes either. So take the cheaper one, but Shakir has he's been pretty viable this year, but I don't know. I'm not really high on that game. I'm not high on that game as a lot of other people are. So
yeah, me too. It makes me nervous, but I don't see it. It seems like those primetime games were like it's gonna be a great back and forth battle, and then we're extremely bored and disappointed. Could definitely be wrong though. OG, good morning. Yeah, agreed. Shout out to Bobby Wow. Hope everything's good with him and the fam. Had an emergency come up there, so hopefully he's doing all right. Definitely in our thoughts. Jason said, tight end dilemma. Hawkinson, Kraft, Freiermuth. I'm playing a lot of Wilson at quarterback, so I'm leaning towards the correlation of Muth. Burns, what's your thought process here? I know you like Wilson a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Freiermuth is in a very good spot here metrically. He's probably an overlooked tight end this week in that 4,200 range. DraftKings, don't know what he is on FanDuel, but he is probably going to be overlooked, and that's the times where he actually excels. A lot of people are going to go right to Pickens, and Pickens' ownership has gotten higher because of it.
So sad.
And he's at 7K salary range. But yeah, I do like Freiermuth today.
Yeah. What are your thoughts here, Raz? I know you love talking about the tight end position, so you can mention anyone else too if there's someone you like. But curious to get if you could give Jason an answer first.
I'm actually going with Hawkinson in that one. Mm-hmm. Just showed that he was back last time out. The fact that we can get Hawkinson and his ridiculous upside at 4,700 on DK is just, I guess, to me, it's just too cheap.
Yeah. Tattoo, are you down with Hawkinson, or are you looking at somebody else here?
Good to Hawk Tua.
Good. Yeah, I'm looking at Hawk too, and for the same reasons Raz mentioned, but I do like Freiermuth with Wilson being your quarterback. Personally, I didn't. If it's just like one line you're looking at, Jason, which I think is typically the way you play it, I would still probably lean towards Hawkinson. But I think what Burns is saying with the correlation there makes a lot of sense as well, and you get a bit of an ownership discount too with Freiermuth. So I don't know. I'm going back and forth. Clearly, I'm also in a dilemma, so I understand the struggle there. Richardson naked. All right, man, I see you. I am not playing him naked, but I do have exposure to him, so hopefully he goes off for us. Thoughts on DK Metcalf today? Burns, what are the numbers telling us on DK? Do you hate him?
Yeah, I don't mind him at all today. I'm trying to get him into lineups. He's just not really populating into lineups like I would like him to. Like a lot of guys are, or a lot of guys aren't. Like Garrett Wilson, I want more of him. I'm just not getting enough of him. There are some guys in here that I'm just not getting enough of that I need more of. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now.
Yeah. Charles, what's up, man? Hope you're doing all right. Is Knox a fade with Cooper in? It definitely makes him a little bit more concerning. Same thing with Mark Andrews with Likely back. It makes him not as safe as he was last week, but he's not a fade. Mr. Five said, just a heads up, Monty has been catching some passes out of the backfield for the Lions. Plus, he is the 10 running back. Safe to get Monty. Plus, Zylstra is the other tight end that could vulture right. Yeah, you're not wrong, Mr. Five. Like, I have David Montgomery exposure because of that, but Gibbs is still the more explosive back, and so that's why I have more exposure to him. But Zylstra, that's definitely an interesting call at tight end. It wouldn't shock me. We see random tight ends get in the end zone all the time, and so if you want to take a shot there, I think that makes total sense. Good call, man. JM said, thought on Chase Brown on FanDuel. You are in Tattoo's head. He likes Chase Brown. Or do you say you were fading Chase Brown? Okay, so you strong faded him. So, yeah, cut that with Chase Brown. And you're asking if you can fade him. Tattoo's totally fine with it. Raz, what are your thoughts on Chase Brown? Would you consider fading him on FanDuel?
I would. I think it's a difficult matchup, so that ownership number just shocks me. And I mean, for me, it's easier to fade because I have Chase Brown in Dynasty going, so I can hedge myself. But yeah, to me, it's not the best of matchups.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I'm not going to say I agree. I'm not playing, so I did not look into that situation much at all. John said, Russell Wilson or no Knicks? John, I feel like you're already answering your question. You put no in that question. For me, it's Wilson. Burns, who are you looking at?
I actually don't mind Bo Nix at all today. So I'll have probably equal field weight ownership on both. So
Tattoo, thoughts? Wilson or Nix?
Well, first, in John's defense, the B and the N are next to each other. So he probably did mean Bo Nix. But I hate Russell Wilson with every fiber of my being.
Damn.
So Bo Nix. Yeah.
All right, Raz, Russell Wilson or Nix?
For me, it's not even close. It's Russell Wilson.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I don't have Bo Nix exposure today, but the matchup on paper does look pretty good against the Falcons, though. So I do understand why people are playing Bo Nix. I just think they're a little underrated. And Russell Wilson, I also don't like either tattoo, but I feel like I just have to have exposure to him in this matchup against the Ravens. That's been great for everybody. Could definitely burn us, but it makes sense to me. Tony said, which replacement tight ends are the best plays? Great question. Brock Wright, Dawson Knox, or AJ Barner? Raz, what are your thoughts here?
I am going to list them in order.
Okay.
Dawson Knox, because he's done it before with Josh Allen. Brock Wright for me, because I've seen him score multiple touchdowns with Goff. Not in one game or anything, but like he's caught touchdowns from him. And then Barner and like Eric Saubert for me are very similar. I know Saubert's not listed on there, but replacement tight end in a game that we like.
Yeah, worth mentioning. Burns, what about you?
I mean, they're all about the same.
Yeah.
I don't really have preference over anyone else. So,
yeah. Anyone stand out for you, Tattoo?
Dawson Knox. I think I would almost exactly what Raz said. Dawson Knox, Brock Wright I've seen before, and then the other two are just whatever.
Yeah, my results and answer might be a little bit skewed just because I am playing Geno today because I really like their offensive scheme in general. And Barner is a part of those stacks. And so he's showing up for me about 2% more than Knox. And I also have leverage on Barner, whereas with Knox, I only have like 5% leverage, which isn't bad, but I like having more. Big Rob said, I'm going in this week like I came to the world, and that's no Butte. That's good. That's good, Big Rob. I see you, man. Stevenson or Swift? Burns, I'll start with you. Who do you like here? Or neither?
it would be Stevenson over Swift. I have no like of the Chicago offense right now. They can't move the football because their quarterback can't throw the football. So I have no love for Chicago. I think they need to invest in their offensive line and call it a day.
Yep, not wrong. For me, I have equal exposure to both, so I can't really answer your question here. Raz, what are your thoughts?
I was going to say Stevenson just because I think I'm higher owned on him, but I think Swift might have more upside because he's been more consistently used in the pass game.
Sure.
And if we expect the Chicago offensive line to be as terrible as they have been, like Williams just needs to get rid of the ball quickly, and that's probably dump offs.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I didn't X them out. Tattoo, do you feel differently here?
No, with FanDuel, I have 13% of each.
Yeah.
I'm not thrilled about either one of them. I don't think I played either one of them on DraftKings.
Yeah, they're just there. They're not players I feel overly passionate about, but I don't X guys out, so I'm just kind of trusting the DS with that exposure. And still around field weight exposure there too, so I'm not upset about it. Josh, you're right. Watch out for Anthony Richardson today. Don't forget about him. Do not forget about him. Charles is like, say it with your chest tattoos. Tell us how you really feel. Bears or Titans defense? For me, it's Titans. What about you, Burns?
Yeah, because you're getting slightly lower in salary. And Darnold has been able to throw some interceptions of late, so I don't mind that. I try not to target Green Bay. They're a pretty decent offense. So,
Raz, Bears or Titans defense?
Titans for more upside. I actually think the Bears probably have a better floor.
Okay. What about you, Tattoo?
What Raz said.
Tattoo, you look like you have the sun coming in on your face, and it's like a holy moment almost. When you were really close to the screen. No, now it's back to normal, but you were really close and you're looking up and you're like, what Raz said? And I was like, oh, Yeah, it was just so innocent. But this is cool. All right, Alan Knox, Pat, Kelsey Hopkins. All right, man, I see you. Thoughts on fading Evan Engram? Never a bad idea. Ricardo, never a bad idea. But let me see. He's not showing. He's only showing up in 2% of my lines, so I'm fading him. What are your thoughts here, Burns?
This is Evan Engram. Yeah, yep. I don't want him at all.
Yep. What about you, Tattoo?
I have no desire.
Raz, it's Mac Jones, right?
It is Mac Jones. I think I probably have more exposure than all of you do, but it's not that I love it. I don't know how you're like. I've dropped his projection down, and he's still the third highest point per dollar on the early slate for me at minimum. Like, okay. He's still showing up, but I did drop him down below others.
Yeah, I can see it on the early slate, but on the late slate, I just have so much exposure to the tight ends in those games. He just naturally started to fall for me once I started getting more of those guys. But the early slate I can get. Let's see. Which Cleveland receiver do we trust the most? We know Burns likes Tillman. Raz, what's your thought process?
It's Tillman for me. And then, Tillman's the chalkiest of the group, I believe. I haven't even looked at their numbers because I'm just playing a bunch of them. I don't really care.
Yeah.
But like you can get more at a discount from Judy, and they both, I think from what I heard, is like the same or similar air yards. So like you're getting the similar player between the two, and Moore is what, 1,000 cheaper than Judy. So that's kind of why I'm pushing a lot of Moore into my builds.
Yeah, and I mean, Elijah Moore is cheaper, and he also saw more targets last week as well. And so I like Elijah Moore. He's the wideout I have the most exposure to, but I have decent leverage on Jerry Jeudy. So kind of like you said, answers all of the above low-key for me. Tattoo, what's your thought process here? Who's your favorite Cleveland wideout?
Well, could you define what a pass catcher is?
Tattoo. That's a Discord joke for those of you all who don't know.
I guess I trust Tillman the most. But I like Njoku if he counts. I know he's not a wide receiver, obviously, but I would probably trust him more than anybody.
Fair. Bobby said, thoughts on Josh Jacobs? I feel like Geek likes Jacobs. I wasn't really looking at him too much. Were you, Burns?
Yeah, he's in my player pool. I think he has a good matchup from a metric standpoint. I think there are a lot of good running backs today. I'm surprised nobody has even asked a question about like running backs today.
Besides Kamara and Gibbs.
Yeah. Let me just say this. Every one of these running backs in the 7K range, even Bijan Robinson is playable. These guys should be in your 15 to 20% range. I just think they're so freaking good. Like, this is why I don't really agree with the tight end in the flex this week. There's no other guys in and around the salary ranges for these guys on DraftKings that are even viable. Like 6,700, the closest tight end is Kelsey. I'd rather have Kareem Hunt. 6K, you're looking at, wide receivers and tight ends. You got Njoku, then you got Chubb. 6K, you got probably Kahil Shakir. I'd rather have Chubb and Njoku. 7K range, God, these guys are so good. So I'm really surprised nobody's even asked a question and it's gone this far without even talking about the running back position in its entirety, because there are guys that are in supremely good matchups. And yeah, I'm trying to get a lot of them.
So. That's how I feel too. Like, there are so many running backs on this slate that I want to get exposure to. So much so that, Bobby, honestly, I didn't even know I'm over the field on Josh Jacobs, and I didn't even force it. It's just happening naturally in the DS. So it's one of those spots where you want exposure to the running backs. That's been the trend this season. What are you thinking, Tattoo?
I was just going to say 100% running back in the flex.
Damn. Okay.
And
Damn.
I allowed 10% wide receiver and 20% tight end, but I really didn't get no more than one of each. So I'm like 100% running back. So.
Yeah. Raz, where are you at when it comes to the flex conversation at this point?
This week I am 60% running back in the flex. There's just a lot of running backs I like. There's a cheap running back that I think people are over. He didn't have a great performance last week, but he's taken over the starting role, or at least the main role in Denver at 4,500. So like, because we have somebody like that really eliminates my desire to double tight end.
So you're really looking at Audric here, right?
I am.
All right. I mean, I think we talked about it a little bit on tactics. What are your thoughts on Audric, Burns?
I'm almost in the I need to see him for another week camp. I just haven't seen enough of him yet to have more than a lineup or two of him.
Yeah. He's showing up around like 5% for me naturally, but I didn't do anything to make that happen. So I'm pretty neutral there. All right, y'all. We are getting close to the end of the show. We will do our anytime touchdown props, and then we'll also do our favorite sneaky low-owned plays that people are not talking enough about. But I want to give y'all a little bit of time to think that over. And so I'll just kind of read some of the chats. Everyone's agreeing. Everyone's loving a lot of tight ends. DP5 said Breece Hall or Jonathan Taylor. I would go Breece Hall. Raz, who do you like here?
Breece Hall.
Burns, are you with Hall or Taylor?
I'm Jonathan Taylor. I'm stacking him with Anthony Richardson today. Breece Hall is also in my player pool. I don't X out anybody, so but he is in my player pool. Let me see how much I got of him. I think I have about 20% Breece Hall, and I got about 20% Jonathan Taylor too. So.
Yeah. I only have like 6%. That worries me. Tattoo, what were your thoughts, Hall or Taylor?
Hall.
All right. So we're at that anytime touchdown prop point of the slate. Raz, are you going to say Derrick Henry again?
I might have to because nobody's asking anything about Derrick Henry. And that means like everybody's overlooking him because of the matchup or whatever. I think Derrick Henry's just an awesome play, GPP wise. So, but I don't know if I'm going to go Derrick Henry. I'm trying to look through. I haven't made up my mind yet.
Okay. So for anytime touchdown props first, Burns, who are you looking at?
For me, it's Jahmyr Gibbs today.
Gibbs. All right. What about you, Tattoo?
Chubb.
Nick Chubb. People are asking about him in the chat, so helpful to know that you like him as well. And I know Burns touched on him too. Raz, who are you looking at?
I'm just going to go with CMC and take the easy route.
CMC. All right. Now it's my job to figure out how to ruin this. Who do I want to add?
Don't pick no fucking wide receiver.
I'll go Achane. I think that's a pretty solid one for me. And then some sneaky low-owned plays that people are not talking enough about. I'll go ahead and say mine. I know no one else is going to like him. For me, it's MVS. He's one of my favorite sneaky plays. I might add some more if you all don't touch on him. But Burns, who are you looking at who's low-owned and you're getting a lot of leverage on?
Let me just check his ownership percentage really quick right now. Okay. I knew it was that low. If you don't have 15% or higher of Kareem Hunt today, he will kill you. The field at under 6% is criminal. He's 5.8% owned. He's going up against Buffalo Bills, who's 30th ranked against the running back position in fantasy points against. And he is a workhorse back. He is a 3-down back. So opportunities are there. Does he have a path to failure? Absolutely. And is just as high as any of the other running backs that are even higher salaried than him.
Yeah.
But at less than 6% ownership with huge amount of opportunity shares and volume, this is criminal. Kareem Hunt should be 15 to 20% owned in the field.
Yeah. I have 10%. I'm okay with that, but I agree. That ownership is wild. What about you, Raz? Who are you looking at?
I'll give you one at the running back, wide receiver, and tight end positions. Running back is Derrick Henry. I obviously just mentioned it. The fact that we continue to see him lower owned, like less than 3.5% right now. Like the guy just performs. I don't care who the matchup is. Like as long as they give him all the touches, he breaks out for a 50, 60-yard run all the time. Guys that size shouldn't do that consistently, but he does, and nobody's playing him. Wide receiver, DK Metcalf. We have Keenan Allen projected to be higher owned than DK Metcalf.
That's wild.
At 4.3% or whatever. Half the Patriots wide receivers, I think, are higher projected owned than DK Metcalf. Tight end wise, like it is pretty spread out, but I think that Njoku at just 5% is criminally too low.
I was going to add that.
Yeah, Njoku's the clear. We all like Jameis a decent amount, or maybe not all of us, but a decent amount of us like Jameis, and so I think Njoku makes a lot of sense with and or without him.
I got to add one more though.
Yeah,
Cooper Kupp at under 6% ownership with Christian Gonzalez covering Puka Nacua. That is incredibly low.
Yep.
I get it. He's 7,500, but yeah, he's really low too.
Okay, so far y'all are saying things I like. These are names I'm on board with. No one said anything crazy yet. Tattoo, are you gonna ruin the streak?
Problem. Now, I love Kareem Hunt too, but I'll just go with Nick Chubb because he's like 4.5% and 9%, but nobody's talking about Karen Williams. So, wide receivers, I like DJ Moore. I mean, it's hard with that quarterback, but we got a little DJ Moore. I'm trying to see if this other guy.
I have a lot of Kyron too, though. I'm right there with you on that.
Calvin Austin, I was thinking about.
Yeah, I think the only one I don't like is DJ. I cannot do that again. But Calvin Austin, he was showing up for me a good bit earlier, and so I don't think that either. I don't think. Yeah, I'm right around field weight on Calvin Austin for the Steelers, but I'm also playing Wilson, so it makes a little bit more sense too for me. So sweet, Mr. Five's with you on Chubb too. He's in the mini line, his Millie line. But y'all, that's pretty much going to be the show today. We will be back next week. And like I always say, nothing but luck. Wish you all well. Hope you crush. And hopefully we can all celebrate in the Discord. Peace out, y'all.
Big time. No man. Diamonds in my teeth. I got a lot of shine.